Hello and happy Friday, everybody. Let's kick off the racing weekend right now. Little matinee action here on the VOR IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series. Hello again. I am Gary Gotza. Welcome to Race First coverage of round 4 of Season 2 of the VOR IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series. As we come to you today from an unlikely place to see IndyCars running on the oval at Daytona. Joining me just as much in awe as I am in the booth is Kyle Clinsworth, and he's had a busy day. I've had a busy day. We're both trying to just decompress now as we settle into our broadcasting booth seats here to watch these cars smoke around this 2.5 mile oval that was not purpose-built for these machines at all.
Doesn't mean they can't go fast here, Gary. Welcome to the World Center of Racing, Daytona!
There, you heard it from him.
Hope that's not a copyright strike.
No. No. But for the longest time, this track was not in digital form back in the early sim racing days because Sega owned the rights to it. So in the very first NASCAR Papyrus NASCAR game that came out on the heels of IndyCar Racing 1, and then NASCAR 1 came out, and then that later led into IndyCar Racing 2, which led into NASCAR Racing 2, and then after that they didn't do any more IndyCar games because of the split. But the very first two, I believe the first two NASCAR games did not have Daytona because Sega had that license. Well, let's take a look. We've got 1:57 left to play here in qualifying. O'Sullivan is on the provisional pole, 2:34. Oh, Christensen to the pole now, 2:34 flat. 2:34.049 versus O'Sullivan's 2:34.040. We are really... Oh, what the heck happened to Christensen car? Looks like it was having relations with the fence.
It still is, and now it's getting intimate with the grass and the apron.
Interesting. And let's take a look. Track temp, 125. It is a hot one out there. Let's get the follow me up here as Jonas Weber is trying to get in a lap here before time runs out. But it's Kinder now to the top. O'Sullivan, Stedman, Boney, Christensen. I wonder what happened to... there's Christensen. Okay. Silvazzi, Meadows, Strauss, Tucker, and Doshenko is your top 10 as we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 guys lined up for qualifying for this race. So this is going to be pretty interesting.
And Meadows muscled his way onto the front row outside provisional pole.
And we're so rushed for getting on here today. I'm not really quite sure. Maybe you could tell me if you look under info tab under the race, you can give us the rule set. I believe we're still at 85% fuel, and
yes,
we're doing 4 tires, 1 on the car, and 3 in the pits. So we've unchanged that, not changed that.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Okay, and then we're doing 90 laps here at Daytona on a 2.5 mile oval.
Bunch of banking.
Well, yeah, well, I'm going to bring up I got to bring up my calculator here because I know we're going to be doing some calculating for some fuel runs because we think it's going to take 3 stops.
Yeah, in order to make it on 2 stops, you have to make 30 laps with the 90-lap race distance. In my testing, you could get 26 on max save, so it's going to be a three-stop race, in my opinion, unless you get a fortunate timed yellow.
We might see those yellows.
Yellow with 27 or 28 to go would be very interesting.
And we are starting the lineup. Let's get the starting lineup in here. Let's get... again, just scrambling. You've moved this week. I have the HVAC guy here that's looking at why my air conditioner was leaking, and we found out why, so that was easy to fix. But yeah, this has all been happening.
Dog's fault?
What's that?
Was it the fault from the new dog?
No. It wasn't the dog. Yeah, no. It was they didn't aim the drain. They didn't aim the condensate pipe over the drain entirely. So I was getting little droplets. Yeah, that will do it. So let's get today's starting lineup in. If I can cue up the music, and we have a long pace lap here, so we got plenty of time. First, we need sound. We need sound, people. We don't have the production truck handling this for me. There we go. Drums, please. And let's take a look at today's starting grid. Let's get all this other graphics off. Boom, there it is. Starting grid. Seb Kender on the pole, 234.134 miles per hour. Cody Meadows, you mentioned him on the getting in there in the front row, 234.129. Shows the margin between his pole speed or his front row speed and Sebastian Kinder's pole speed at 0.001 in terms of time. And then if you look at Liam O'Sullivan lined up third, 0.02 in terms of time. This is how close we are. Dave Stedman fourth, the silent assassin. He was fast in practice. Alexander Bonney in fifth. John Christensen sixth. Julian Altena, he comes in seventh. Fordor Doshinko, P8, Salvazzi, P9, Strauss in 10th. And again, it doesn't really matter where you start in this race because you are all going to be the great equalizer of the draft. Long as you stay in the draft, you're good to go. Josh Tucker, 11th, Dan Inch, 12th, John Ha, 13th, Jonas Weber in 14th, Bill Colley, 15th, and we have some others that did not take a qualification attempt, I believe, and they're just not going to show up on my overlay. And we will get them drawn in here.
Peguero and Layson Furness.
Yeah, Peguero and Furness will be the two on the tail end of the field here.
I believe Furness is starting from the pits or is having connection issues. He is just disconnected, so...
starting from the pits is not a bad idea. You'll lose the draft, but if there's a big one, you're going to be out of it. As the pace car is bringing this field through Daytona turn 3 and 4, getting ready to start this race off.
Now, right here, I believe will be the trouble spot on cold tires. In my practice sessions, it felt like the left sides really wanted to hug the paint and pull the car to the apron here on cold tires. So watch for turns 3 and 4 to be a trouble spot on lap 1.
And we will be here tomorrow with the IR18s. So that will be an interesting one. We'll hopefully see maybe even see a new world record set in terms of a timed race lap speed here. Here we go. Seb's bringing them down slow. Everybody doing a little bit of jerking in the background because those tire spins, they're hard on the accelerator. Green here at Daytona. IndyCars back at Daytona.
First time since 59.
And we will talk about that. And the best way around here is the IRL line on the bottom. But Dave Stedman going to pop out high, going to take a look on the high side of Meadows. Following him through is Bonney. Kinder's still the leader going into 3. O'Sullivan tucked in behind him. Stedman up high, trying to get that second line to work. Here comes Fordor Doshinko in that that green car. He kisses the wall. That's going to slow him up a little bit. Second line not coming in. Bottom line still the way to go.
Two by two for 3 rows after third.
And there's a bit of a second group developing back there as giving everybody some room. That's Peguero, Inch, and Colley, excuse me.
The gateway winner, Bill Colley.
Second line, teammates lining up on the top behind the Shinko.
To the lead they go.
There they go, and we drop down the silent assassin, Dave Stedman, to the lead. The Shinko follows him through to the bottom. They are now your leaders, 3 of 90 in the books. And the Ryder Esport cars all lining up on the top side. Julian going to the back. He said, I've had enough of that up front. There's a new entrant, John Hall. There, he is in Dixon, former Dixon livery. When Dixon in the DW12, when Dixon drove that, I believe that's the car he sliced in half at Indianapolis.
Did he have a like a welding torch or what? What happened? I'm unfamiliar.
Do you remember the wreck he had at Indianapolis in it would have been 17? So it was the last year with these cars, and he.
Kinder hit the apron there.
Yeah. Oh, Kinder hit the apron.
Oh, he saved it.
He saved
lost
it back.
A bunch of time though. It was an excellent job not losing control of that car. Another fight for the lead here.
So if you remember back in the 2017 Indy 500, Jay Howard smacked the wall, and he rebounded off the wall and came right into Scotty Dixon. This is on the north end or the south end of the racetrack, so turns 1 and 2 in the short chute. It shot Dixon's car into the air, and he came down on the inside retaining wall and sliced that car in half, and he got up and walked away.
Incredible. Yeah, I do not recall, so thank you for the lore.
That was the Takuma Sato getting his first Indy 500 win. With a number, with right behind him, Castroneves with a number of second-place finishes that Castroneves has to his name. He could very easily be a 5 or 6-time Indy 500 champion if he didn't get all those second-place finishes. Then again, also A.J. Foyt could be in the same boat as well. A.J. Foyt had a number of second-place finishes. Tom Sneva had a number of second-place finishes. He could be a multi-time Indy 500 winner as well. Have you seen the back? Julian doing a little swap drafting with Peguero. Peguero in the Adrian Fernandez throwback. I like it. I like it. Of course, this whenever Daytona week is for NASCAR, who is the Mexican driver there? Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, he is actually going to be doing. One of my pet peeves is I hate seeing NASCAR liveries on Indy cars, but he is going to do an IndyCar livery on a NASCAR as they will be honoring Adrian Fernandez. At Darlington. I think that's awesome. Adrian Fernandez, a multi-time winner in the IndyCar series, also in karts. Very consistent racers. Probably one of the best racers to come out of Mexico to come into IndyCar this side of Pato.
Yeah, I was going to say Pato Award is currently challenging that. And the race that Daniel Suarez won earlier this year is probably going to look very similar to the finish we're having today, as Joshua Tucker refuses to get off of the quarter pounder of Dave Steadman, and they've been side by side for the lead for a handful of laps here. The setup is racing very, very closely. Everybody's giving enough space to be mindful of one another. Nobody's made an overly aggressive move, and they've all given space when there have been moments. I'm very proud of the field so far. They've done a very good job navigating what can be very treacherous racetrack.
Yeah, a lot of cars having issues holding their line, though. They got to really hold their line here. Daytona looks a lot wider than it really is. This is very narrow compared to, say, a place like Talladega or even another place that these guys are more familiar with, a Michigan or a Fontana. Is very wide. This could be pretty narrow. Really, these cars are only going to be 2 wide in the corners. You can go 3 wide unless you're really want to welcome on a wreck.
Yeah, the backstretch the backstretch definitely, probably 3 cars will fit very easily. In the corners, 3 is asking for disaster unless everyone's exactly locked in. And the tri-oval has the same issue as the corners. Due to the safer barrier, you lose almost half a lane and it wraps around the entire track. Before the safer barrier was installed at Daytona, I think you'd have no problem having cars 3 abreast all the way around. But The real life drivers need it, and this is a simulation, so it's going to stay on the iRacing scan.
So we're thinking 3 stops here, right? Is that what we're thinking?
Absolutely.
So we're
I think
90. So it's going to be actually 3 stops, 4 stints.
Yep,
We're not that far away from our first pit stops happening, guys.
Well, I think you're probably going to want to stop around lap 21 to 23.
Okay.
For the first stint. That's what my math shows. 21 is when the window opens. If you want to cut it perfectly into quarters with the fuel in the car, you're going to want to pit on lap 21, lap 44, and lap 67. But you shouldn't lose a lap here. But the brakes are very weak. So getting onto pit road and into your pit box without a mistake is going to be where you can hemorrhage a ton of time. Doing that cleanly may decide the race.
Camera on Jonas Weber. He has set the purple lap. We'll get you a translation for that here in a moment. He set a 37.9. That is going to be
fast.
A 2:35, 2:47. That's about what you're going to see him probably peak at for qualifications this year for the 500 here at Indianapolis. Now that 2:35 will probably be the fastest we see. At 2:35 here in the DW12s, these things have massive drag and poke a huge hole in the air. So that was draft aided, of course, but a big run there for Weber. Purple lap currently in P6. As we are now starting to get strung out a little bit. And I would imagine if we stay green and we get to that first stop, we will really string things out. Historically, VOR has had pretty good luck here at Daytona. There was a race a few seasons ago, and I was actually a participant in it, and we went caution-free and actually, believe it or not, turned into a fuel mileage race.
I don't think fuel mileage is on the table today if we go green. You'd have to stretch 6 extra laps or more out of the car and have a buddy helping you do that to cut the air for you, who's going to be getting worse mileage than you are, and they won't be able to part the air for you out of the way for you to get that good type of long economy run. Right, and
I will say those guys that have teammates in this race, it's going to be heavily planned, especially if we get a green flag stop. And we are about 5 laps away from earliest green flag stops possibly happening. So these Ryder Esports guys, they'll probably all want to stop at once. The VOR team will probably want to stop all at once. And those are really the big teams now. Unless some of these guys are palled up with others pre-race and says, hey, I'll work with you. Otherwise, they're going to have to make a deal unspoken here on the racetrack and pit with somebody that they may or may not really have spoken to before about making a cooperative deal here. But Stedman the leader, Dashiko P2, Sullivan P3. We've really settled down into a bit of a train race here. Not been very exciting for the last 6 laps or so. When that second line started to go away, everyone down to the bottom. Tucker in 4th, Meadows 5th, Weber 6th, Bonnie back in 7th, Kinder 8th, Strauss in 9th, Salvazzi 10. That is your top 10. Points leader, Julian Altena, he is back there in 13th. Speaking of the points, let's take a look at those really, really quick while we have an opportunity. Here are the drivers' points, bringing them up on screen. Julian is your leader by 3 over Edson Santos. Santos not in the lineup, so this is going to be an opportunity for Liam O'Sullivan to eat into Santos' lead here over him in P2. John Christensen 4th, Bill Colley 5th, Bonnie 6th, Jesper Orman not in today's lineup 7th. Leighton Furness unfortunately was having connection issues. It says in chat there. He is 8th. Dan Lynch is 9th. And Cody Meadows is 10th. That is your top 10. There's your full field rundown for the drivers' points.
Now the points leader may be running right now in the back of the pack, but he and Dan Ench are working together, and they have cut 1/10 of a second off every lap here. They've been about 3/10 of a second faster than the main group by swap drafting. So they're not going to need to pit on their own agenda. They'll be able to pit with their teammates and not lose too much time.
And let's bring up the race header, the race information. Here you go. Weather information. And 90 laps, 225 miles here. Daytona. and give you a weather update on the screen. 126 degrees track temperature. This was like Indianapolis quals last night in the ERL. Oh, that was brutal. They had 131. I think I saw at one point 131 was the track temperature when they were trying to qualify.
That's about as hot as it was here when I moved in. It was a 98-degree scorcher on Monday when I made the drive cross country.
I told you I've done that drive. I hate that drive.
Yeah, everything after Ohio is just
absolutely
crazy.
So my mom's side of the family, they're all from New England, Vermont specifically. In fact, my aunt and uncle aren't very far from New Hampshire Motor Speedway up there in the Loudon. They're probably about a maybe 20-minute drive at most, but they every summer as a child getting piled into, and then giving away my age here, piled into the old station wagon and driving out there across Ohio. Ohio is a lot longer state than you believe until you drive across it, and you're like, man, this state's forever.
Oh, it is a wide baby. It and Pennsylvania both.
And that Pennsylvania, yeah. If you drive along the long portion of Pennsylvania, we did the short portion and just went up through Erie, and then you did the whole long portion of Julian blinking out and car coming apart. He'll snap back together. There you go. Dan Inch, we'll look at him here for a moment. New York State Thruway takes forever, and it just when you're in your car with that much family, and not so much my mom and dad, but I just remember just hating it being with my little sister. Just those, and then my parents are always like, "Why do you want to fly everywhere?" I have no idea. Why do I want to fly anywhere?
You made me this way.
You made me this way. You created this monster.
A little bit of shuffling here in the middle of the lead pack as Jonas Weber gets around Alexander Bonnie there.
Yeah, Bonnie is Weber. They got a bit of a second group here, so they're in danger. And let's look at intervals between everybody. So the key number here between Meadows and Weber is really going to be about 8/10. That's about when the draft really peters out for these cars. Now he's pulling back up here a little bit. Weber's now 3/10, and he's still within that draft window. But if you fall out at 8/10, you're really out of the draft envelope for these cars, which is unlike the DW or the IR18s. The 18s is the draft window is about a second and a half, and it really should be that way, if not more. These cars, but for whatever reason, when the iRacing was coding these cars, decided 8/10 would be the draft envelope, which isn't really accurately correct. So.
Well, Altena and Ench have executed their plan to perfection. They are now on the tail end of this lead pack. There's no more slack in the chain. And we should be expecting first pit stops here. Help us keep all this good, positive momentum, folks. If you enjoy race first coverage of the VOR IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing while you're at it. Don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future race first iRacing broadcasting. And here we coming to lap 25. Got about a 3-car breakaway at front. Stedman, Dacinko, and Sullivan. Who is coming to pit road this time by? I don't think anybody is. No takers yet. I mean, you could go a little longer. The longer you go, the less fuel you'll need on the final stop.
Short fill.
But it looks like Stedman has signaled to the field he is pitting this lap.
And there's a bit of a gap between him and O'Sullivan. 5/10. That's an eternity here. And when we're talking draft racing, pack racing here at Daytona. Here comes Stedman. Now, Stedman's going to have to worry about bringing this car down extremely quick. Last lap, 2:32.5. And he's got these little tiny brake discs. He lives a little of a squirm coming down. Needs to bring the car under control. There he goes. I think he gets down to the line. This you might have to look and see on the info tab what the pit road speed limit is. I think it
is 60. He 60. Got down just fine.
Okay.
No drama there. No fanfare. Dave did it perfectly. Now, getting out of pit road is also difficult.
Yes, and we will watch him right here on pit road.
And a handful of others signaling that they're pitting. Piguero, Ench, among others.
And very easily. And then the apron, you got to go all the way around to the backstretch before you can get back on. And he's going to come around and get back on the backstretch before anybody else is going to catch him here. But he needs to keep that car. We're going on the wide shot right here to see if anyone pops in. But he's got to keep that car under control because the low power band on here definitely want to make those real wheels spin, and we'll lose control. So it looks like he's safely back up the speed. Sullivan, Tucker now the leader. O'Sullivan P2. Any takers on pit road? Yeah, Inch and Pagero on pit road. Inch and Pagero.
And then a whole host
Inch missed his spot.
Little breaks.
And he backed up too much and he missed it again. So Paguero's going to get around him. But the problem is with Paguero, he doesn't have a dance partner now. And so he might have had a dance partner going in, but he lost it coming out because Inch had issues getting to his stall.
I'm sure there will be
Julian
one
on pit road. Tucker on pit road. Ha on pit road. Collie on pit road.
O'Sullivan's in this lap.
O'Sullivan with another rider esport entry with Strauss coming with him. So he will have a partner. Problem is they're pretty well separated on pit road. So even if O'Sullivan gets out, he still needs to wait for Strauss.
I mean, it's entirely possible that Strauss does not take tires, and Strauss
missed his marks.
So did O'Sullivan. They both had very poorly executed pit stops.
That's what practice is for, boys. You should be doing that. And they're actually going to come out and probably be thankful that they both had that issue, because both of them are going to come out in close proximity. Still got cars making laps. Going around them is looks like Stedman and Altena. Tucker. Meadows is now your leader. He's still all by himself. He hasn't stopped yet. Silvazzi has not stopped yet. Christensen has not stopped yet. They're going 29 laps.
If they can make it to lap 30, or like finish lap 30 here, which it looks like they're going to, they may be able to cut a stop off of this.
Yeah.
Because
Meadows coming to pit road right now. Christensen coming to pit road right now. Silvazzi coming to pit road right now. So they will come to... Oh, goodness. Get in line. Don't get your penalty.
Oh, no.
Get Christensen. Oh, well, he keeps his momentum, spins it around. Don't know if he'll have a penalty for doing that on pit road. But
no,
I think
he did not speed. That's not a penalty.
That's
Leaving into the grass is not a penalty.
That's going to cost him a little time, though. But Meadows and Silvazzi, they have hit their stalls and their spots dead on, and they're going to come out with one another. Unfortunately, Christensen's not going to have a dancing partner, at least not yet. We'll see how this all shakes out. Tucker is by himself, and he might pick up the lead here. Tucker, Stedman, Altena, your top three coming off pit road. I think Meadows, nope. And Stedman and Silvazzi fall back. So Tucker is going to pick up the lead here. Tucker on pit road, 26.9 seconds in the box, 8.2. One of the faster stops. Actually, I think he was the fastest stop. The actually fastest stop was Silvazzi, 8.1 in the box. But he was Josh Tucker. I mean, we're talking tenths here now on a super speedway. Here comes Stedman. So we have a 3-car breakaway now up front. And these guys will be looking to pit here probably now in the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, Meadows, I think, is the only car still within striking distance, him and Silvazzi, that went far enough on fuel on the first lap.
And Meadows is not that far out of the way of this lead group.
Well, right now he's leading in front of a 2-car tandem, and that's really bad for fuel economy. And it looks like Christensen and John Ha are going to work together. So if Christensen can... Go ahead.
I'm not sure who. A car bounced off the wall. O'Sullivan?
Yes.
Let's go back and look at that really quick momentarily.
Looks like he just arrow pushed into the safer barrier, but I don't think he's any worse for wear.
Yeah, he did. He caught it. Gets below the yellow line and then gets right back up So he might have just scrubbed off some speed. Gave Seb Kinder a bit of a scare there. He's like, you see Kinder kind of abruptly move up a little bit to give him room. But there we go. That's the incident that we just had. Oh,
another one.
Oh!
Is that forward?
Oh, DeCicco! Oh, DeCicco in the wall! No caution.
He's lost his right front tire.
No caution.
What a shame. He'd been running up front all day.
I know. He was in a position for really a good finish, possibly even looking at the win. He's following the guy that went longest on that first stop. So the guy in front of him, if he was able to, interesting, bit of a slide coming off the corner, might have damaged himself. So he better have a bit of aero push. One of the Ryder sports cars gives himself an evasive move, scares Bonnie. Bonnie goes up, hits DeCicco again, almost gets another Ryder Esports car. And I would say day done for DeCicco, unfortunately.
And we have 2 competing lead packs, one of 3 cars, one of 4 cars, and one of 2 cars in that order. So 3 in the lead, 4 running 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then 2 running 9th and 10th. And if I look at the lap times, it looks like the group of 3 in the front have been the fastest. They are working together. The group of 4 are staying in a straight line, and the group of 2 will catch the group of 4 because of that.
Okay, so that's Kinder and O'Sullivan in that second group of 2.
The third group.
The second group is led by Bonnie, Weber, Meadows, and Salvazzi. So Meadows wisely gets back into a place where he fell back a little bit so he could get into a group and try to work on that mileage. He's right now looking at probably one of the few cars right now that might be able to do this on one less stop.
Yeah, it's him and Salvazzi, and they're nose to tail. And I think Salvazzi has a better chance because he hasn't led at all. He's always been tucked up behind someone's bumper the entire run. Not that you have a bumper, an attenuator.
So let's go back in the Wayback Machine here and talk about IndyCar's one and only visit to the Daytona International Speedway. Yes, there has been an official IndyCar race here. It was on the oval, and it was a lot longer ago than you think about. USAC opened their 1959 season here in Daytona. The pole was won by Dick Rathman with a speed of 173.210 miles per hour and a Curtis-designed Offie-powered roadster. Okay, let me say that speed again. Okay, this is 1959. We're not remotely close to this speed at all at Indianapolis. 173.210 miles per hour in an open cockpit, probably with the basic of type of helmet, no real face protection, roadster.
Single lap seatbelt, probably.
I mean, we're talking real men driving these things here. 173 on skinny tires, probably. 173.210 miles per hour. The race was won by Jim Rathman, Dick's brother, who led 35 of the 40 laps. 3-time Indy 500 winner Roger Ward finished second. This up-and-coming driver by the name of A.J. Foyt in his second USAC season finished 8th. Also in the lineup, you had former Indy 500 starters Tony Bettenhausen, former Indy 500 winners Eddie Sachs and Pat Flattery, and another IndyCar another driver by the name of Elmer George. You're like, George, why does that name sound familiar? Because that is Tony George's dad. That is Ed Carpenter's step-grandfather. He was in the lineup. Of course, George married into the Holman family. Trouble in the backstretch. Bonnie is in the inside wall. That should be clear. And let's go back and take a look at what happened. Monty just arrow washes up into the wall. Bam. And how he missed everybody and everybody missed him. He almost caught it. And then it finally just comes around on him. Oh, that's too bad. And that's why they put that extra tarmac there to try to slow those cars down before hitting the wall, but he wasn't able to quite do that. So we've watched now 2 cars get taken out by aero wash here. So it's just not as simple as turning left and following the car. You gotta steer the thing.
Steer the thing and feather out of the throttle without inducing liftoff oversteer, right? Because if you just snap off the throttle, the rear of the car gets very uncomfortable.
Yes. Yep, for sure. So let's reset the field here. It's Tucker, Stedman, and Altena are your 3 in the lead pack on lap 42 of 90. So we're quickly coming to the halfway point. No caution laps yet, but we have seen a number of incidents. Yeah, drivers have been able to get off course before the caution's coming out. We have a second group that's led by Weber. O'Sullivan looking for a bit of a swap draft here. They need to do this in order to run down the leaders. Cody Meadows, now this is the driver we want to watch for the remainder of the race. He might be able to finish this race on one less stop as everyone, as he got to lap 30. Right with him is Salvazzi. Salvazzi is also in that category, and Seb Kinder was pretty close to that category as well. So watch these 3 cars as this race progresses. Your leaders, as they are doing some swap drafting, trying to pull away from the guys behind them. As you see, the track temp is 125 degrees, so it is slippery out there. These guys up front, Tucker 28, lap 28, Stedman lap 26, and Julian lap 28. That's when they pitted last. So we are looking very, very soon for these guys to probably hit pit road again. Yeah, we're looking probably within the next 12 laps or so for these guys, possibly. Julian, scooting out to the top. I think he's trying to let Stedman go.
Yeah, they were all communicating over the radio to try to coordinate that.
All right.
So it was planned.
So unfortunately, during the finish of that 59 race, 3-time USAC Champ Car race winner George Amick was killed in a very fiery wreck. And now the lead up to that wreck, the drivers were very skeptical of the racetrack. You could clearly tell it was the speeds exceeded really the safety limits of those cars at the time. They were kind of in rarefied air in terms of what being at a racetrack this new and this, let's put it this way, technologically more advanced than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the time. They were very scared about going to a second race. Now, USAC committed to a second race that season. In fact, it was supposed to be held over July 4th weekend. After the 59 opener and the driver said, we're not going to go back there ever again, USAC stewards had to come back to Papa France and say, Papa France, we're not going to come back for our July 4th race, even though you've sold tickets and you've also started promoting the event. So what did Papa France do? He went ahead and continued selling tickets and changed the event from an IndyCar race to a NASCAR race. And that is how you get the Firecracker 400. And now you know the rest of the story.
Gary, I learned something new with you every week. Thank you for being a racing encyclopedia.
Look at these cars. They are super twitchy. Let's do a lap with one of these guys. It'll be real cool to ride along. Let's ride along with Cody Meadows. Let's ride on that roll bar. There he is. I don't even think he's 100% throttle.
He's absolutely not. He is saving fuel to try to get to lap 60 or 61 perhaps. And these guys being side by side in front of him helps him. It punches a bigger hole in the air.
You listen to him, he sucked right up to the back end of Weber and then rolled out of it. Look at these cars dance. These are not stable cars at all. So he will pull right up to the 12, to the back end of O'Sullivan, excuse me. As Weber gets in front. They're trying to reduce that 2.7 second deficit to that lead pack. Meanwhile, the lead pack is trying to pull away. Here, Cody rolls out of it, saving a lot of fuel doing that. And saving
way
probably,
more than I could.
Yeah, and let's watch Savazzi. He's probably saving more fuel. Here's Savazzi. We got Jesper Orman in there. No way I'm getting into that roadster. You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. There were a number of drivers that showed up to that race that was going to try to qualify, and they're like, no, I'm not going to do it. One of them had the last name of Sed. And you're like, hey, I think I've heard of it. Well, it's Boris Sed's dad. Oh! Meadows clips the apron.
Meadows. And Salvasi doesn't want to
clips
pass
the
him.
same too.
It's because Salvasi didn't want to pass. He wanted to sit behind and save fuel, so he kept lifting. Now this second group is going to have no shot at catching the leaders, broken up like this. Well, we still have a lot of racing to go. We have 40 laps to go. It's entirely possible that they get swapping, but Meadows isn't going to do it. Neither is Salvasi. So you have Kinder there stuck between them, and I would not be surprised if Meadows just kind of pulls over and lets Kinder around, so he can continue to be stuck. Whoa, 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 whoa! More trouble.
That's O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan.
Did he smack the wall?
No, I think he just got out of shape.
Oh, yeah, he did. And I think these tires are actually getting the tire wear is actually what's causing this. As he power slides it, he's lucky the banking was there. It really helped him catch everything. That brings him back to that third group, which unfortunately now Weber has lost his dance partner.
Yeah, O'Sullivan did an incredible job not overcorrecting that car. He let the car go where it wanted to go, kind of like on a motorcycle when you have a death wobble. And he's throwing in the white flag. He's getting new tires here. He's taking his second stop of the day.
Okay, so that is O'Sullivan.
Correct.
And he last pitted on 28, so he's right in that neighborhood. A little early.
Yeah, he's in the window for the 3-stop strategy.
But he doesn't have a dance partner, though.
With the way the field is spread out, he may come out near someone. And he will be able to work with them, hopefully, until the people in the group he was working with, Meadows, Salvasi, and Kinder.
Well, there we go. Let's watch out the back of his car here. Here comes... Actually, this is the leaders.
Yeah, he's going to tack on right behind Altena, I believe. Ooh, he may not be going fast enough. Tucker is in this lap.
He's going to get a little bit of that draft, but not a lot of it. Watch how Tucker peels off here. He's going to take Stedman with him. Now Julian out there by himself.
If you notice, Tucker went all the way to the inside wall to give Stedman all the extra racetrack to slow down. That's a courtesy move from the leader, just in case you lock up your brakes or want to be as close as possible to your dance partner when you're both pitting at the same time.
Yeah, that's thinking ahead, just in case the guy locks him up. He's not going to pile into the back end of you.
Now, the last thing you want to do when you make that move is lock your brakes up yourself, and then you plow into the guy on your outside.
Right.
That's a rookie mistake I've seen
But
before.
Stedman and Tucker both come out together, so they will still have be able to dance with each other. Although Tucker is kind of pulling away from him here on the pit access road. I think Stedman hasn't driven these cars as much in the last couple of weeks. Probably still coming up to at least getting to reacquaint himself with the touch of the car there. But Tucker's going to pull out and have himself a little bit of a buffer over Stedman. He might drag the brake a little bit and wait for him, but he can't wait too long.
Weber is coming in this lap, and that is the person Meadows is drafting off of. So this is where Weber needs to make a decision. Is he going to let Kinder by? Salvasi's content being the last car in this 4-car train, because obviously he doesn't want to burn any fuel. Yeah, and Meadows does exactly that. He lets Kinder in by on the low side. And he and Silvazzi are just competing to burn the
Meadows' car was just floating up and down. I think it was trying to hold the line and kind of got into a violent little bit of a wobble there. But now they're behind Kinder. Now Julian has managed to save some fuel. He is now 29 laps into his current stint. He only went 27 on his first stint. So he's trying to go long. So Vazzy now by himself.
He's putting in this lap, so he did save some, but not enough.
So here he comes really quick off the banking. It's probably how he got into that third spot in the leader's very aggressive pit in. So Vazzy now leading this second group. So this second group is really waiting, trying to go another 3 more laps. And all 3 of these were in the same neighborhood. Seb Kinder had to go a lap early than everyone else, but everyone else went within a lap of one another in this group.
And Strauss might just be their saving grace, as he's at full bore, ripping past them. He'll punch a hole in the air for them to follow. Getting his lap back there. That was music to Silvazzi's ears right there. Hearing that engine roar by him. And then it looks like Weber and O'Sullivan are going to link up here. They're not too far from one another. But of the cars that have pit, I think Josh Tucker is going to be first among them once it all cycles through.
Let's take a look here. Yes, it probably will be Tucker. Tucker's all by himself.
Yeah, Altena is tracking him down with Stedman, but he's got a second and a half.
They'll get that. Stedman and I think Julian are savvy enough that they'll be able to run down Tucker. I think Tucker will just do his best.
Ozzy's met his number.
Yep.
He made it to 60. Meadows did not. Meadows made it to 59.
And he's coming off pit road, so Vazzy hit the number.
Oh, but he slides through pit road entry.
Now did he speed? Did he speed?
I was watching him. Let me go back. I will check. He got to the cone at 70 and then went down to 50. Before the first timing segment ended, I think he will not be penalized. I think Silvazzi will be able to make the number without a penalty here.
Down and away, and this could be his last stop.
All he needs to do is find a dance partner to run the majority of this.
Easier said than done. now with this field thinning out.
And with him sliding through pit road entry, he's not going to come out with Meadows.
Oh, he might come out with these guys. Yeah, it's going to be close with those two.
Far too slow. Far too slow. If I were him, I would slow down and let Kinder catch me. So even though he slid through pit road, he was much faster than Kinder through the pit cycle.
Yeah, so Vazzy 26.4 on pit road, 8.5 in the box. The fastest pit stop of that round was Weber with an 8.1 second pit stop.
And that's probably what got him the lead.
Tucker on pit road for that stint. On the pit road, 27.1. In the box, 8.3. Stedman and Altena are running him down.
Oh, sorry. Tucker got the lead, not Weber.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No worries. So it looks like it's a 1.4 seconds to Tucker from Stedman. Now 1.3. So they're running him down. They'll probably catch him in a couple of laps.
Then you've got teammates, O'Sullivan and Weber, running fourth and fifth. And they seem to be very well coordinated.
They might, they're 2.5 back from Stedman and Altena, and they are not really gaining.
I think they are. They're running 38 ones lap after lap.
All right, let's see here.
Altena's running 38 threes.
All right. Math says they're gaining. I'm not watching them tick down though. They're right at 2.5. Now they're about 2.5 flat. Now they're under 2.4. So now they're gaining.
But none of it's going to matter. Let me see where Salvazzi is right behind Kinder, saving gas, running 3/4 throttle. I think Salvazzi's going to steal this on fuel mileage.
I want to be the first time we've had a race here stolen on fuel mileage. Christopher Kresge, yes, the old admin of the RIL, won the fuel mileage race here for his one and only VOR win. I was in that race. Along with others, we had a pretty big lineup for that race, if I remember right. We had like 25, 28 cars. In fact, we even had bumping, I think. That's how many we had for this one.
Not bump drafting, like bump.
No, not bump drafting, but we actually had bump qualifying, yes. And if I remember Watson from Team Watson Racing Setups fame, he DNQ'd. He couldn't qualify, and it was just that close. And there's some qualification tricks you can do. You know what I'm talking about when you're in the IR18 to make yourself a little bit faster on these plate tracks on qualifying. And that's kind of what it boiled down to with us. I went ahead and started from pit road along with just about half my team. And there's a car in pit road.
Fontana. He's cutting short this final run to short fill, probably fuel only.
We'll watch him. We'll watch him. Gets us to his spot here. He slides a little bit, but he gets it in there.
I wonder if he had some sort of analysis going on saying that if he came in for fuel now, he'd catch someone.
Well, he opted for no tires. And he's down and away. And in that race, I started from pit road, but I had another problem that I was going to start from pit road anyways. But when the session changed from qualifying to race, my iRacing locked up. So I had to clear out of iRacing, reset everything, get back in, and by the time I got back in, like 3 or 4 laps were already done. So I just was out there all race long, turning laps pretty much by myself until the end when everyone else was fuel saving, and I was the only one that didn't have to fuel save. So I'm drafting and passing people left and right because I'm 100% throttle because I don't need to be anything less. And I finished well down the order, kind of disappointing because I thought I would have had a good shot and a good car for that race. But, yeah, it was loading in that it just locked up between the sessions, which it does every now and then. It hasn't done it for me in a long time, but I know I haven't been the only one to get bit by that. And unfortunately, I lost my chance to kind of participate in that race. But it was caution-free. I'm not going to say it was incident-free. There was an incident. I think Julian actually got taken out in an incident in that race, as a matter of fact, but did not bring out the caution. And so we went caution-free the entire time. Christopher Kresge got his lone and only VOR IndyCar Series win there that day. It was a fun race. And it also proved in a couple weeks' time, we did a caution-free race here at Daytona, and a lot of the same guys a few weeks later went to the RIL's race at iRacing Super Speedway and did another 75 laps there of caution-free racing. So 2 big plate tracks, 2 big draft pack racing tracks between the RIL and the VOR IndyCar leagues did 175 laps of caution-free racing on those tracks.
That's incredible. You love it when you can see people log on and have a clean and green race like we're having today. I mean, again, we've had incidents, right? But nothing that's taken out anyone but the perpetrator themselves, and no over-aggressive driving.
If you're just joining us, welcome. This is Race First coverage of the VOR IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series coming to you from, that's right, you are seeing it right, IndyCars at Daytona. We've completed 70 of 90 laps. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race, as a matter of fact, we'll bring that up here in a moment for you. But we are getting to the closing stages here. We had here our final stops for Weber and O'Sullivan.
They both got on cleanly. Let's see if they can get into their box without.
And Bill Colley was there too, and Bill Colley might be able to help these guys get off of pit road a little bit faster because he'll be done just about when they're coming out. So they might have a bit of a 3-car cooperation going on here. Bill Colley back in 14th, making his final stop. Oh, Bill!
So yeah, Weber was in and out cleanly, but it looks like O'Sullivan slid into his box.
Oh no! So guess what? Collie might play a role because Weber might need his help.
It may be moot. Altena will have more than a straightaway on these as he drafts with.
Here comes Tucker. Tucker slides through, but I think he gets to his marks. He's making his final stop.
So where he comes out in relation to Altena will probably be the race for second, if Silvazzi can make it on fuel. And he is coming into turn 1 now, and here comes Altena, barreling down the front stretch at full speed. This will be the fight for second or first, depending on if Silvazzi can stretch the fuel. I don't know if Tucker's fast enough. I think he needed 0.2 more. It's so frustrating to miss the draft by that little after all the race. I think Altena pit early because I think he knew that he would catch Dan Ench and then they could swap. I think that's what happened.
Well, if that's the case, that is pretty great planning. And so you got two teammates. There is no such thing as illegal team orders in VOR. And Inch, even though he's back in 7th, he is working with his teammate Altena, who's in 8th. So this is a battle for position. So there's not a lap down guy here helping out or getting in the way. No, this is the battle for position. But these guys could steam through as cars in front of them have to pit. Also in front of them is John Haas by himself. Ha is in 6th. His last stop was at 54, so he's 20 laps into his current stint. He will have to stop one more time. Meadows can't get any closer to the back end of Christensen. He is trying like mad to possibly get back on that schedule. He had to pit a lap early than he wanted to last time. Can he make it home? He is done. He pitted right at 60, so can he go the 30 that he's done before? That would bring him home. Christensen, he's going to have to probably stop one more time, and that is the bullpen calling. Okay. No, the right-hander cannot warm up. Anyways, Christensen's going to have to stop one more time. Unless he gets behind Meadows and can maybe cooperate, but I don't think Meadows will be willing to lead that group. What they need to do is kind of run down who's ever in front of them, which is Kinder and Silvazzi. These are the two that we think are good to go to the end. Silvazzi clips the apron bad, Silvazzi. And they're running them down. They're running them down.
I think Kinder cannot make it, but Silvazzi can. Kinder is going very slowly right now to try to make it. And if they continue at this pace, I think Altena will catch them all. Well,
here they come. They're all together now. Kinder last lap, 226 flat. I mean, keep in mind, these cars were doing 230, 232, 233s. So that is kind of really, now 221 that time by for Kinder. So he is really trying to feather foot it. Meantime, Christensen's like, you know what? I'm going to get some TV time. Screw it. I got nothing to lose. Let's go. So Seb Kinder now is going to be punching a hole in the air for Silvazzi and now Meadows. And so maybe Meadows and Silvazzi are back on strategy. Maybe Meadows is back on strategy. So we'll see. These are the two cars we think that can make it to the end possibly. Kinder, it remains to be seen. It's going to be close. Christensen, there's a stop. So he is done. He is going to make a stop, and this is his final stop right here. So now we just roll over and watch these last three and see what happens. Seb Kinder, 225.4, so he's still trying to save. And Silvazzi, for that matter, I think he's still trying to save. His last lap, 225.3. Meadows, 225.9.
Something to note, Gary. Altena is now working with Tucker, who they've connected because Dan Ench made a pit stop. So they will be racing for perhaps the win or the final podium position between themselves, depending on what these fuel savers can manage out of their economy and their speed.
Now, John Haw is in fourth, but he's a long ways behind the top three. But he's turning 230-mile-per-hour laps, so the guys in front of him are turning 219, 220s. So they're exiting in the middle of the backstretch now. He is
in the middle of 1 and 2.
1 and 2. So he's going to slowly start chipping away that. Julian and his dancing partner Tucker, they're going to be quickly catching Ha, but also involved in the middle of this as Inch, who had some issue on pit road and is now down a lap. Did not see what that issue was. Okay, here's Ha. He is coming to pit road for his final stop. So he's pitting on lap 80. He went 25 laps on this current stint. I think he actually will be 26 when he crosses the line. So now back up to this top three that are Kinder that time by 2:16.9. I think you're right. I think Altena and Tucker. Let's instead of bringing up speeds, let's check their gap to these guys. So Tucker and Altena 11 seconds behind.
That's a second a lap. They're gonna make that up.
Seconds, 10.6, 10.5 now.
It's going to be very close, and that's if they make it on fuel. It's possible that Silvazzi... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And Dan Inch is also going to be running this group down. John Ha probably going to be running this group down. They're running at 100% throttle.
Yeah, but for Dan, it's just to get back on the tail end of the
lead lap. True, but they're going to catch it, and then they won't be able to really do anything. Either they'll pass them, or get the other cars will get behind them, go to 100% throttle, and let these guys break the air. And then all the while, we might also have Julian and Tucker also join. So we'll have like a 7-car, a bit of a 7-car pack with only 5 of the cars on the lead lap with a chance for the win.
I really don't think that's the case. When Christensen powered past them earlier, Kinder and Silvazzi could not hold on to his coattail. They just could not put enough throttle down to even be behind him in the draft while he was full throttle, because they're trying to hit their number. If Silvazzi, I think Silvazzi has the most in the tank. He went the furthest and has been behind someone this entire run. He's the only car, I think, that when he gets to his number, he'll hammer down. I think anyone else is going to be limping to the finish.
Well, Jesper says in chat that Tucker's got him. Of course, they're teammates at IAR, so it's okay to be biased. Julian with the purple lap that time, or not that time by, but in the period of this run, 37.7. That will calculate out to be at 236.212.
Yeah, Tucker and Altena have now caught the group of Ench and John Ha, and that will help them leapfrog just a couple extra tenths up to the leaders.
And let's get that gap back up there. Gap to the leaders. They are... that was 10 seconds not too long ago. It is now 4 seconds.
They are gaining rapidly.
Let's try to get a... do I have an... Yes. Here's a spectator view of what it looks like. There it is. Silvazzi. Meadows is either given up or he is last time by 222.2, and here they come. They've worked their way around Ha and Inch. Inch might tack on to the back side of this, and they will be right there. They will be right with Meadows, and they're going to go right around them. 5 to go now.
Yeah, the full throttle duo of Tucker and Altena now passing on the outside of the lead.
Yep, and that's it.
Silvazzi has given up on Kinder. He's going to tack onto the front two to try to squeeze it to the end and podium. He might even be able to fight for the lead. I think he saved enough, Gary. He can fight with these guys here these last 4 laps.
Well, I think Kinder's picked it up too. We'll see what his lap time is this time by. Last time 2:27.7, so he is back on it. So now we have a race for the lead between these 4, Tucker, Altena, Silvazzi, and Kinder. And give you a report. Tucker's 15 laps on his current stint. He's good to go. Julian, 21 laps on his current stint. He's good to go. Silvazzi, 26 laps on the current stint. 4 laps to go. That's going to be close. Kinder, 27 laps on his current stint. 4 laps to go. It will also be close.
I don't think Kinder
and that's it for Kinder. He has to throw in the towel. So close. So now it's down to a 3-man race.
And that's if Silvazzi can make it. And if he doesn't, who gets the podium?
And here comes Dave Stedman. He's very quietly worked his way into 4th, and he is losing ground now to the group in front of him. He does not have a dance partner, but if he keeps it where he is clear in front and behind him for a little bit. So if something big happens in front of him, he can maybe capitalize on it. We'll see. Here we go, coming to 2 to go. The World Center of Speed, if you're just joining us, we're in the closing stages here of the VOR Iconic Series at Daytona, where Josh Tucker leads with 2 to go. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And that next race is going to be DW12's on Sunday at Kentucky. And the Dark Horse DW12 series, don't miss it, 8 p.m. Eastern. 2 laps to go. Who's going to make the move? Silvazzi wants to, but I don't think he might not have any help to get him there.
I think when Altena pulls out or tries to lag back to make a slingshot here on the final lap, Silvazzi will go with him and try to split 3 wide.
Yep.
Altena's dropping back. He's going to build a run here.
Here it is. Here it is. Onto the outside. Oh, we're going to stick it 3 wide. Julian with the nose and turn 3. Silvazzi's thinking about still taking it wide. We're side by side.
They're 3 wide.
We're 3 wide. Careful, boys. Oh, Silvazzi hits the wall. He kisses it. Coming to the line. It is Tucker. 0.038 is what timing and scoring corrected it to.
What a fight from Patrick Silvazzi. He gave it all he had. Fumes in the tank. Blisters on the steering wheel.
And skin on the tires.
So close to making it uncontested as well. If he had had a dance partner with more gas in the tank, like if he had found Dan Ench earlier in the race, just by himself on the track, maybe he could have built more of a time gap, but he was saving with other savers, which bled too much time for Josh Tucker to capitalize. Well done by him and Altena to come home first and second.
Let's get some replays queued up here so we can get people into the interview room and talk to them, and then we'll also get our final standings here as Tucker is going to do some donuts at the Tri-Oval.
And who would have guessed? 0 flags under caution.
I love it.
Sorry, 0 laps under caution.
I love it.
It was amazing.
All right, let's bring up the maestro, please. Here is our final standings for today. Josh Tucker with the win. He up 10 spots, did a 3-stopper, led 40 laps. Julian also up there as well, improved 5 spots, 3-stopper, led 4 laps. Silvazzi finished 3rd. He was the lead of the lead car of the 2-stoppers, as you see there. Made 6 spots, led 4 laps. Dave Stedman led the much of the opening stint and finished basically where he started. but he also participated in the 3-stop as well. Liam O'Sullivan, one of the other cars on the 2-stopper, lost a couple spots from where he started, led 2 laps. Strauss finishes 6th, led 2 laps. Christensen led a lap, finishes 7th. Kinder led 12 laps. But wasn't able to quite make the fuel mileage work for him. Finished 8th. Dan Inch 9th. John Ha in his first start in the series, a top 10, very good. Finishes 10th. Cody Meadows, we looked for the longest time, looked like he was going to be one of the cars to watch, and just he wasn't able to get the mileage. Had to end up doing a 3-stopper, finishes 11th. Pagero 12th, Colley 13th, Vever 14th, Boney 15th, Dolshinko 16th, and unfortunately, Leighton Furness, Layson with some connection issues, and it happens. We've all been there. Comes in 17th. He'll get credit for 17th, and he'll get those points, but unfortunately just wasn't able to turn any laps, which sometimes isn't fair for a lot of folks, but it happens to all of us, I think.
We've got our whole podium waiting to be interviewed. Gary, look at that.
Yeah.
Lined up in a row. Nice and on time.
And we'll bring up Salvazzi first. Hey, Patrick, got you here in the booth with Gary and Clindy. Tried to make that 2-stopper work. Just not enough room there at the end to go 3 wide. We were talking about that in the broadcast, that the 2 wide comfortable on this track, 3 wide gets a little dicey, and just wasn't to be held on the high side, I guess, at least that high on the racetrack for you. But you made the 2-stopper work. You were the most successful at that. Talk about your race.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was initially the plan that I will do the 2 stops, so I did my maths and it worked. I would have done like an extra lap every stint, so I would have been able to do 31, but I didn't risk it, and I don't think I would have been able to do it on clean air.
Mm-hmm.
Last stint was I thought I almost screwed myself because I broke I made it onto the grass when I pitted, so Luckily I didn't get penalized. I'm really lucky with that. And yeah, basically last stint was about Seb helping me, and I really, really appreciate his effort. And yeah, it worked out, yes. But I actually told Julian and Tucker that basically what happened is that I basically got washed on the wall, and there was nowhere. I had to. So there was nothing to do. I was able to make it to P3. I mean, I really, really saved my season with this, with all those bad results and everything.
Right.
So, yeah.
Clindy, you got anything for him?
No, I want to know how you got that mileage, because in my testing I was maxing out at 29 laps. How were you able to get to 30 or even 31 by your calculations?
I was like 50-60% on throttle basically all the time when I was able to. Other than that, I really struggled to keep up with having on Seb's gearbox when he was leading, but lucky. Basically, I was so lucky with how the leaders came and Seb's pit cycle came on the last lap. So basically, I didn't lose the place, and I was able to switch to them without any issues. And actually, I had 1 lap of extra fuel at the end. So that's why I was able to push. But yeah, maybe if I didn't get washed off, I would have maybe get the run, I think. But it's okay. But basically, this was my first ever race on a super speed. So I was really, really skeptical with everything and how it will go and how many cautions were. But I'm really glad that 2-stop worked and we ended up having caution.
Yeah, caution free. I mean, so does it change your opinion on bringing these cars on the big ovals like this and Talladega and iRacing Super Speedway?
On iRacing, yes.
I don't think we'll see it in real life for sure, but yeah. If everyone behaves, and it looks like everyone did, you can have a good race like this. So this is VOR's had a very good history here. That we had an IR18 race here I was telling everybody about that went caution free, and another one, this one went caution free, and ironically, they both were decided by kind of fuel mileage. So congratulations on the P3. I know you were kind of skeptical coming in, but you survived. You did everything you needed to do. Shout outs. Anybody want to say hi to? Friends, family, sponsors? Go right ahead.
Yeah. So massive. Biggest shout out goes to Seb for basically helping me whole race and everything. And also, I would like to dedicate this podium to Nate Sifker from TWR. He had an accident pretty recently, and he's doing well. So I would like to dedicate this podium to him. So and hopefully I will be here tomorrow as well.
Okay, well, congratulations, and I have a graphic for Nate somewhere that I could probably put up on the broadcast here real quick, but I was kind of saving it for the FIS. But Nate Siefer, champion of the FIS, got in a really, really bad automobile accident, has put him in the hospital, and he's improving, but the whole situation, how he got there is kind of diabolical. He was kind of targeted, so we wish him the best, but we obviously got all the best out of your car today. Finished in third. Congratulations, and hopefully
thank you so much.
We will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. See you.
And let's go to Julian now. Hey, Julian, got you here with Gary and Clindy. So start of the race, you fell right to the back, but you must have been practicing how to make these pit stops really fast, because after that first stint around the pit stops, you were right up at the front, and that's where you were for the rest of the race. It did look like at times cars had their hands full with dirty air. How bad was it out there? Or just wasn't it impacting you at all?
Well, let me just put this out first. This is a true test of my new microphone.
Okay.
But no, I was. I'll just talk you through my race. It's probably easiest. It was. I was trying to let the field by in the first stint, because I didn't like what I was seeing, with a few people moving around too much, which I kind of sort of expected with the day heat that would happen later on, but not so early. So I tried to let the field go, and then I got into I think it was P15 or P16 with Iker behind me, and I was trying to swap drive with him, but he tried to race me, and which cost me the draft, which then led to me being 2.5 seconds back by the time I got to the first round of pit stop. So I had to burn all that fuel to try and catch back up, which didn't work. But yeah, I did make it all up, and then I really had to go super fuel safe in the second and third stint. I tried to make it work, but I was about a lap or two too short to make it. So yeah, I tried to make the most of it behind Dave and Josh, but Dave wasn't really able to swap drive with Josh properly as well. So I ended up burning more fuel than I had hoped for there as well. So by then I just knew that I needed to pit early and try to get these guys in the danger zone, so I could maybe pull it off that way, which worked, to be fair. I was waiting for Josh as well to pick him up to swap draft and save his race. Then he threw a nice little block there with one of the lap cars in between there, but it's fine. I really don't like winning in my own league, so I really couldn't care less about it. So it's good. Still finished P2, which is good for the championship in a sense. I just hate to win every race. So finishing P2 is the next best thing, I guess. So it was a good race. Turned clean from everybody too, so can't really complain about it.
Clinton, you got anything for him?
Yeah, when you pulled out or you dragged back on the brake on the final lap to build a run on the backstretch, when you had a nose out in front of Tucker going into 3, did you think about pinching him more, just with how uncomfortable these cars get near the apron, hoping he could lift, or was that a thought that went in your mind at all?
No, I wasn't really trying that hard, to be honest, and Josh will know this as well. Like, we were all really loose on the final couple laps because we only took fuel, so that looseness was kind of was magnified a little bit more. So I was just more focused on not crashing out into Josh or into Patrick, which Patrick tried to send a 3 wide, didn't work out for him, but at least I kept it on the track and on the road. So that was my main point. Like, I tried to get a little bit of a run, but I wasn't actually trying hard, if that makes sense. So
So what
It's
do
hard
you,
to explain, but yeah.
well, let's talk about. We kind of talked about the history of VOR here. I mean, we really good history. That first race we did went caution free. This one went caution free, and we're talking about the first race in the IR18. This one caution free. What do you think about more races coming back to Daytona here in other series, or even back in the? I know the IR18s will be here tomorrow. Do you think that the reputation has kind of been built up here, where this league does a pretty good job at these type of tracks now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always fun to have a super speedway race every once in a while. We've done it a couple seasons in a row, whether it's at Daytona or Talladega. But next season, the schedule's already pretty much finalized. We've had about 5 or 6 seasons in a row where we've done it, so I'm gonna get rid of it for next season at least. Maybe for season 13, it's gonna return. Yeah, this is going to be the final week for at least a little while until we do it again. Like I say, it's fun, but it's not really realistic, which is kind of what we're moving towards. I might even make the races a little bit longer for IR18. So we'll have to wait and see. But Daytona and Talladega will be parked for at least a season. If they will return for season 13, probably, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
All right. Well, shout outs. Anybody want to say hi to? I know that your teammates definitely helped you out there, so I'm sure you're pretty happy with their performances, especially in terms of a team cooperative effort.
Of course, yeah. I want to thank Dan. He really helped me out in that race. I think I kind of destroyed his race by having him help me out a little bit, but he still got away with the top 10. So good job for him still, considering the circumstances. It wasn't optimal for his race. So yeah, really big thanks to him. Want to thank Josh as well for working with me for a big part in that race. Just everybody on the team as well. I forgot to say whilst I was talking about Dan, just everybody on the team in general did a decent job today. Still learning the ropes, I guess, of pack racing. John and stuff are. Like I say, we don't really run this realistically, so it is to be expected for people to be a little bit less experienced or familiar with this style of racing. It's different to Indianapolis, which is the same track length, but it's even different still to Michigan and other clubs. So,
yeah, for sure.
It's really a unique style of racing, which, as I said already twice, it's just hard to get experience with. But yeah, those guys still did a decent job. We got top 10 with all cars, so it's so good. I want to thank Fully Racewear for sponsoring the league for about 2 or 3 years at this point already. Want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I know we pay you, Gary, but still, it's much appreciated. Yeah, I want to say hi to my girlfriend as well. Hopefully, if the Daytona race tomorrow finishes on time, I can actually go there. I was bringing it up in the chat, by the way, and people were like, "Oh, actually, half an hour earlier start time might not be a bad idea." So maybe we'll make that happen, which allows me to go earlier. We'll see. It's a nice, convenient thing to be discussed, I guess. But yeah, that might happen also. But yeah, again, hi to my girlfriend. I love you. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow, and if not, Sunday morning. Yeah, I think I got everything and everybody. There's not many people that I.
Yep, you did it.
So, yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, congratulations on the P2. It's going to help in the championship. We got Indy next, which we know you do well at. I believe you and I participated in a beer league once, and you won the race there. So in these cars, so I suspect there'll be more of the same. We'll see, but that's in a couple weeks from now at Indianapolis. Congratulations on P2. We'll catch you at the next one.
The RRL wasn't really a race, was it? We were just too fast. See ya, Gary.
See ya. And my phone keeps blowing up. The bullpen keeps trying to call me. I got the Nate's graphic up on the screen there for Nate. Nate Seifer back there again, from former champion of the Formula Indy Series. Got in a pretty nasty wreck, and he is recuperating right now. And the other new tool that I need to get a chance to do today, Clindy, is I have a telestrator.
Yeah, I saw your little yellow arrow you put.
Yeah, I have a telestrator, so I can circle Julian. I can see it right when he hit the yellow line. Don't touch that line down there, Julian. So apron bad. BAD, and I'm doing that with a mouse. But yeah, that's a new feature that we got. So I get to be like John Madden, but with the race cars. Let's bring up Josh Tucker, the winner. Josh, we got you up here in the booth. Had a long discussion with Julian. He enjoys his time on the mic, but it's your turn on the mic. We'll give you all the time you need. Great win there at the end. When did you know that you had this, or at least a chance of this in the bag, especially when you had a whole other fuel strategy going on? Did you just know that you're going to burn as hard as you can and you're just going to eventually catch those guys?
No, man, like I was trying to be a sacrificial lamb for the rest of the Ryder cars, like and try to take some of the fuel strategy out of the other guys, make them push so they'll end up being short. I didn't actually think I had a chance out of it until Jules was drafting with Dan, and Dan had to pit, and Jules came on the radio and said, he would drop off and let me catch him. And that kind of saved my race. And then, when we caught the fuel guys, I just pinched Julian low, and I feel really guilty because, like, he saved my race and I did not repay him a favor. Like, I just threw him.
That means you got to pay him back in a later race.
Yeah, for sure. But,
Yeah, he'll be cashing that in next week at Indy, or in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, once I knew I could, I'd have that pinch and, I would have a clean track with not that many laps left. I knew I had it then, it was like, okay, it's in the bag. But man, I feel really guilty about that. Me and Jules are, ex teammates, but we still have a really good relationship, and yeah, like I was not kind to him.
Well, how about your history running on these big, I call them plate tracks. Of course, they don't run plates on them anymore. But when the Indy cars come here, it's just going to be a big pack race. And you did a caution-free track. You did a caution-free race. You were part of that RIL race at iRacing Super Speedway, and then you did the race here caution-free. So these cars, whether it be the 18 or the DW12s, if you pilot them efficiently, you can pull off a caution-free race at these big tracks. It's not a problem.
No, it isn't. Like we were having that discussion. Like I don't, VOR's got some really talented drivers, in it. Not, I wouldn't say it has a depth of Lionheart or some of the, IES or some of the other leagues, but a lot of us that drive in those leagues, Moonlight and VOR, and we can't quite put our finger on like, every time we have a meme race or go to a meme track, it ends up being caution free, but we can go to
Gateway.
Like or Gateway, right? And it's a caution fest. So it's like, come on, guys. Like, and Gateway historically races a lot easier than Daytona.
For sure, yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things, man. But like, I think, appreciate the job everybody did today, and with this being kind of a feeder series into the IR18, I think that's a good omen for things to come in the future. With
hopefully tomorrow, right? For sure. Yeah. Clint, you got any questions for the champ?
No, just congratulations, Josh. I saw you and your whole team were burning it down after the race, so well earned for all of you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, go ahead. You got the microphone for shout-outs. I know you got a whole host of teammates. You had one of them in chat here, had Jesper saying that you got this. He called it. He called the shot well before you were even in the lead. He says, Josh got this. So thanks for. He's probably thankful for you making him look good. We weren't sure exactly what was going to go on with that second fuel strategy. If the slow burn was going to be able to get to the distance before, because as I was telling everybody in the audience, all the listeners and viewers, that when we did the VOR race here the very first time with the R18, it was a fuel mileage race. So it was no telling, and the guy saved the most fuel won. So in this case, the guy that saved the most fuel finished third, and you just outburned him there because you had a slightly better strategy and better people to work with. So give us the shout outs, man. I know you got a whole host of people you want to thank.
Yeah, all the guys at IAR, they're definitely my mentors these days. Seb Alexander and Jesper, and then especially all the guys at Ryder. With me, developing some of those guys, and last not least, but definitely you guys, like Gary, like you've been in the community, since I've been a driver, since I've got here, and it's learned so much from you, and listening to your broadcasts is always a highlight. And Clinty, it's nice to have you on the team, and like, yeah, dude, keep it up, guys.
Clinty just does a really good job at making me sound a lot better. That's, I think, really what it boils down to. But congratulations. We got 2 races to go. Indianapolis, of course, a win here with a schedule this small is going to catapult you into the conversation for the championship. We'll see how the points shake out at the end of all this. Julian manually does the points. I'm not sure what the point situation is, but I'm sure you're up in it. 2 races to go. Still some time. Congratulations. We'll see you at the next one, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, man.
Final thoughts, sir?
Not at all, except for that Julian and Josh working together is the opposite of what you tend to see at tracks like this. If Julian had given up on Dan Ench when he came into the pits and ran by himself, he and Josh would not have caught Patrick Silvazzi, and they would have finished second and third. Julian fell back, worked with Josh, and allowed them to finish first and second instead of second and third, much to the Patrick's dismay or his chagrin. Usually, if you're in not a league race, but an open race, you're not going to see the guy in front of you slow down at a plate track or a drafting track like this to work with you to attempt to win. They're going to take the second place and run home with it, right? They want every bit of iRating they can get, and they're not going to chance you being able to pass them in an open race like that or an official series.
Well, the points have not been updated yet, so we have we're not really sure about everything, but Julian getting a second is really good. Oh, now he's updating them as I'm watching the screen, but we'll let him continue to do that. We'll get on out of here and get everyone back their remainder of their Friday afternoons. I'm not sure where it is in your part of the world. It's an all right looking day here, so I'm ready to kick off the weekend. Let's get on out of here, and of course we do have the graphic for Nate up there. Hopefully the guys that see that let him know. We'll bring that out also when we do the FIS as well, when they have their Indianapolis race here in a couple weeks. Big month. Of course, we are in the month of May, so everyone is got the focus on Indianapolis, and that no difference here for these guys. That's their next focus in the next race. So that's it for today. Once you get to your podium from Daytona, Josh Tucker with the win, a very slim margin, 0.038 over Julian, about the width of a nose, or about a nose front wheel to the front nose length. I think that wasn't too bad. Patrick Silvazzi on the 2-stopper comes home third. Join me and Clinton again May 17th for round 5 of season 2 of the VOR IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series as teams of drivers head to the world's greatest race course. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway coverage begins approximately 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's 3 p.m. Eastern. Remember, you can find everything you need for your times and your areas and the proper start time right at youtube.com/racefirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, and so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race. I want to thank everybody that participated in chat. Thank you very much. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage or today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so I'll miss out more of RaceFirst's other iRacing programming. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceFirst, we know what Indy means. We didn't get a chance to really talk about it much, but we do definitely want to thank our sponsor of the series, of the VOR Iconic Series, is brought to you by IFS Personal Financial Planning. We had so much action on the track, we just really never got to them, but they helped bring this action to you. They're paying for the broadcasting here. We appreciate it. IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in helping their clients make the most of their savings with holistic financial planning that is tailored to their specific needs over the course of their lifetimes. On average, they have been working with their clients for over 20 years, helping them navigate the complexities of investments, the uncertainties of markets, and the ever-changing legislative landscape. Check out Alexander Bonney on the Discord if you have any questions. And we want to thank him and IFS Personal Financial Planning for being the sponsors of the VOR DW12 Iconic Series. Also want to thank Track Cams. Track Cams provided the cams today. That's Track Cams for Gourmets. Check them out at TrackCam22 or click on the link in today's description. For business inquiries to learn more about RaceFirst and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So for Clindy, everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gatto saying happy Friday. Thanks for watching, and to all of the men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Catch us again right here May 17th at Indianapolis for the next race of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar DW12 Iconic Series. See ya!